In today's video, I'm going to take you guys through my full live trading session. You will see my entries, my exits, my thought processes behind everything. This is from my live stream from today. I live stream almost every single day so you guys can watch me trade live and see my KCZ strategy work in real time, prove that it works. So this 5-minute candle closed green, which is a good thing. And now we're going to be in this little 5-minute consolidation zone. So if it fills up to the top here, which I'm hoping it does, I'm hoping it doesn't have a reaction at the bottom of it and continue falling, which is a possibility. So if it continues pushing up right here, I will probably exit the position somewhere in this blue box. But for the time being, we will see what happens over the course of this next candle. But this one, I want the buying pressure to continue on and fill somewhere in this price range, and then I'll probably exit with whatever we get. Hopefully it'll be around 500 bucks, but I think I'm gonna risk it and enter another contract because we did get a 5-minute candle close. So I'm gonna scale in a bit, I'm gonna reduce risk, and we will see if this wants to continue pushing up. And the reason why you scale in with a position like this when it's showing clear signs of pressure into your analysis is so that you just don't have to hold it for as long as you would normally would if you were not scaling in. Like before, like up here was $1,500 and now it's like $3,000. So now I don't have to hold the position for as long as I normally would because we are already pushing up into my analysis, and that's why you scale in usually. So it's possible that this could be the top tick of this flag before it continues pushing down, because there is a shit ton of selling pressure for the day. And that would be unfortunate for us because I would probably get stopped out when I could have closed it up here, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully the the buying pressure continues on and it continues pushing up and fills up so I can get my exit. And I kind of missed it because I wasn't really paying attention that much that we did push up into like $500 profit or $600. So I probably should have closed it then, but we'll see if we get another exit opportunity, which it could be pushing up right now for it. So we're just going to be waiting to see if that wants to play out. It gives us a $500 exit. And the cool thing with scaling in as well is, especially when you get onto the XFA, you definitely should be scaling in. Like I see it all the time with like my prop firms that I own, is like people take their max position size off of their first analysis, off of their first try of their analysis, and that's why they blow the account. Like why would you take full position size off of a trade that you don't know if it's going to be pushing into your analysis or not yet? So we could be pushing up right now. I want to exit with like 500 bucks. So I'm actually going to be putting my take profit there if it wants to spike up, but then again, I'll just manually close it as well. Because I am not convinced that the buying pressure will continue pushing up, especially since we're slowing down in this level now. And since I'm scalping, we have to be pretty aggressive with how we're managing it, because this candle could easily wick down. We could have the overall direction correct, but since we're scalping, it could wick down, stop me out, and then continue pushing up, right? So that's why we need to aggressively manage scalping trades. So if I wanted to be like extra conservative, I could actually put my stop below the most recent 5-minute candle. So if the selling pressure starts taking over the market, I would get stopped out. Which I might put it below right there. So at the very least, we're locking in $80. But just because, like I said, this candle is struggling to continue on with the buying pressure. And if I did miss my entry or my exit up here for like $600, which it would have been up here, I would much rather get stopped out if it wants to turn on me pretty quick, because there is a lot of selling pressure right now. But I'm just aiming for a quick in and out entry. Even if this is just a little flag in the overall downtrend, we can play off that flag, right? But you just have to manage it pretty aggressively. So we did close green, which is kind of a good sign. So this next candle will probably stop us out or continue pushing green. And then if we get stuck in this little consolidation that it formed previously, then it is what it is. But it gives me hope to, since we're getting candle closes inside of it now, that we're going to play these waves inside of it. And it'll fill somewhere to the top side, hopefully, especially if it starts to turn green at the bottom here and start using the bottom of it as support like it has previously. But we'll see. We might be getting stopped out or trailing stop right now. But if this 5-minute candle warms up red like it is now, and then it flips green in the next couple minutes, that's signs that there is buying pressure at the bottom of it, and it could be playing out because it could be using it as support. And then hopefully that gives us the buying pressure we need to not only hit my take profit, but also push up higher. So it's possible that I extend my take profit if we show signs of it warming up red like it is now, and then in the next few minutes it turns green to the top side. Be very inclined to extend my take profit and stay in the trade, but we'll see. I'm completely good with exiting with like $500. Just like I did on Friday. So we warmed up red on the candle, like I said. Now we're starting to flip green. Now we just need it to continue pushing up a bit. So nothing is having struggles breaking the top of it right here. I want it to fill to at least the top of the wick here to lock in like $500 or so. And then that would be, it's possible I call it after that, or maybe I wait for market to develop a little bit and then I look for another entry to the top side. Because I think it'll probably come down sometime. I'm not saying all the way down here, but like it could be something like this. Like let's say the buying pressure continues and then it could drop down to something like that. And then I could re-enter later on in the day off of that retest of the bottom here. So we are starting to push up again. We're currently up $500. So I exited. So what was that? My P&L for the day. How do we figure that out? I'm still very new to this. 390 plus 60. So like 450. So that's fine. I think overall, if we extend this, overall on this account, we're up like $1,000. So we just need 2 more thousand to pass the account. And it's possible that it continues pushing up, but I'm good with locking in the $500 profit. And now we just kind of wait for market to develop and show us my regular entry model. So my regular entry model is when it comes back down for a retest. And then we enter off of that retest and signs of rejections back up. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for now. But we are up like 450 on the day. And hopefully we did top tick this little flag here, especially if it comes back down for another retest. No signs of it slowing down though. We have yet to have a red candle close in this overall little downtrend, so, or uptrend. I'm thinking we're probably going to be consolidating for the next bit like it did previously here before it starts to push up again. And it's possible that if we do show signs of having some kind of reaction back down, like I said, I'll just be aiming for the next 2 green candle closes to the top side, and then I'd re-enter to see if I can extend our initial $450 profit to maybe 1,000 on the day. But it's crazy, like look at this big trade that could have played out to my entry model as well. So like at the top here, we've obviously have taken sells off the top of the zone up here, and we could have played off it again back here, but I did not trade doing New York Open, but obviously this would have been like a massive trade. Could have entered off of these 2 5-minute candle closes off the top for the FOMO entry, and then just aimed for the midway point, and it would have filled pretty aggressively over like the 5 minutes we were in it. But now I'm playing off the same entry, but just the flip side. So instead of playing off of these 2 red candle closes for my FOMO entry for sells off the top of the key consolidation zone, now we're entering buys off the bottom of it for my FOMO entry for 2 candle closes green. So that was my initial entry right here that I closed for 450 or whatever. And now we're starting to show signs of rejections back down. So it kind of does seem like I did top tick this overall little flag for a quick in and out entry. And now if this candle closes red, I'm waiting for another 2 candle closes green to the top side, and then it's possible that I re-enter buys on the trade to play for another flag back up. But this is the boring part about scalping. You just got to wait for market to develop, and hopefully it shows signs of what I'm wanting. Otherwise, there's no reason for me to be re-entering another position. But also, like on the 1 hour, like it's possible that price does push down to somewhere in this price zone. But either way, we're going to have rejections or reactions to these levels that it needs to break through. And we can play off of those flags, which we already did already. But we'll see if I can get another entry. So if this red candle closes red, and then the next 10-minute candle or the next 2 5-minute candles close green, then I'm going to probably re-enter. I don't know if I'll re-enter with minis like I did here. I might go on the micros and put like half a position, so like 5 micros instead. But I do think if my regular entry model starts showing itself with the initial reaction, come back for a retest, show signs of rejections back up, the probability of it filling to the midway point of this key consolidation zone, which is around here, this red line that I have marked out, is pretty high. But for top step accounts anyways, I like quick in and out entries. Or just in general when I scalp, just because like I got other shit to be doing than sitting here and watching the charts really. I really hope that it doesn't continue falling like at the bottom of here. Like if it starts to create, if it breaks below these most recent lows and starts creating new lows, then I'm probably just going to call the session because I do not want to guess how far it's going to be falling. Because that's a dangerous game. That's another thing I see a lot of people do is like when they play like breakout trades, for example, like let's say for whatever reason, they try to aim for new lows because they think it's breaking out of the current price area. A lot of the times it's not. A lot of the times it's just like wicking down and then it's going to come back up, or it's wicking up and then it's going to come back down. And a lot of people fuck up their accounts or their prop firm accounts, like their challenges and stuff, because they think that they are accurately determining a breakout trade when most of the time they're not. It's just like a quick wick out. Like, how often do you enter in a position? Like, let's say you entered in buys, like right here for whatever reason, you had your stops below there. How often do you get stopped out with a little wick out like this, and then it comes back up to your entry? Like, a lot. Or like, how often do you enter sells and then it spikes down quickly and then it just comes back up, and then it flips on you and stops you out and goes long for the rest of the day? I remember when I first started trading, I would never do like market execution trades. Like, I never like manually trade. I'd always put like limit orders in. And the way I would do it is I would go off the 1 hour and I would put a limit order at the bottom of a wick, or like a sell at the top of these wicks, or a buy at the bottom of these wicks. And yeah, sometimes clearly it works out, but the way it actually worked out for me is I had a pretty small position, so I could have like a massive stop loss. And this is like my first ever entry model. I would have like a massive stop loss, and then when it filled up to the top of it over the next like few hours or whatever it was, it would only be like, since my position size was pretty small and my stop loss was pretty large, it would still be like a $500 to like $1,000 trade, which is good, I guess. But for whatever reason, I started to hike the position sizes. So instead of risking like a small amount on my account, I started to risk like a larger amount. And I remember the first time I ever did it on a live account, at that time it was like my biggest trade ever. It was like $77,000, and with a massive position size. And that was on like my first ever live account. And then I don't know, and like obviously like just having like a very simple entry criteria of just putting like your buys at the bottom of like a wick of like a key consolidation zone. This is like before I really like figured this shit out for myself. I was just playing off like the wicks. And obviously not every single time it goes directly to the wick you're targeting. Like sometimes it'll hit the wick and then it'll spike up. So as I increased my position sizes, I would decrease my stop loss. So like let's say we were trading around here. I would target this wick, put a massive position size, but I would have a really tight stop loss, and I would target something like that, and then clearly I would get stopped out eventually. And then that's when I started to lose, and I didn't know why I was losing. And it's because before I would have a massive stop loss with a smaller position size, but then I would be taking larger positions, risking a lot of my account to try and chase that $70,000 trade or whatever it was again. I think like very early on though, it was very like apparent to me that price creates these zones and stays in it, and you can easily trade off the top of it for sells or the bottom of it for buys. And then as time progressed and I got better with trading and started to realize that market shows certain structures when it is rejection or rejecting off the top or bottom of it. And then I realized that even on the 5 minute inside of the overall 1 hour key consolidation zone, it creates 5 minute ones, and then it creates 1 minute ones as well that you can play off of as well. And it just got super in depth with price areas, rejections, off of all the time frames. And I kind of like maybe I have like autism or something, but like I fucking nerded out about it like pretty fucking crazy. And I don't know, like 12 hours a day just back testing before back testing was really a thing back in like 2018. I think I only knew of one person on the internet back in 2018 when I first started trading that was talking about back testing and talking about learning how to like take stats on your trades and then running those results through simulation. I think I only knew of one person online back in 2018 that was talking about it. But now everybody does. But I'm also a firm believer that like you could have a statistical edge in some sense, but also like with market experience, the biggest thing, what separates like profitable traders to not, in my experience owning prop firms and stuff, is somebody with a pretty mechanical edge, but then they use a lot of discretion and market experience on top of that. Because obviously, if you've been trading a certain pair or a certain financial market, you're going to know how it moves, how it reacts at certain price areas or just in general. And you can use that in tandem with your like 3-step entry criteria or whatever to be entering shit. So we started to have the reaction down. So now at any point, if we get 2 candle closes green, I'm going to re-enter again. And I'll probably just risk our initial profit that I made off of this initial push up. So like I'll risk like $500 to make whatever, to make another 500 to see if I can extend the profit for the day for $1,000. So I'm hoping this is the little rejection back down, and now we're going to be showing signs of trading back up. So 2 candle closes green, then I'm going to enter long again. I guess I should have called it. It would be smart to call it since I'm already up like $450 right now, but it is a 50K combine, which is $50. Like it doesn't really mean shit. I guess to some people it would, but I usually trade on like my live account with Fusion Markets, but for whatever reason, people don't like that. People like watching Top Step type of content. So I'll do whatever gets more views right now, I suppose. So I've only taken like a few trades on my live account, which would have been like a few streams ago. I took a Bitcoin trade, which was like $8,000. And then I think I took another Bitcoin trade, which was like a few $1,000s. So I only have taken like 2 trades on my live account this month so far. And I'm already up like $10,000 on my live account. Actually, while this is playing out, figuring itself out, let's go break down Bitcoin, because maybe I do want to take another trade. So on the daily, if you guys have been living under a rock, clearly the crypto markets have been absolutely getting dog fucked right now. And now we're back in like this price range. So I think overall, we're probably going to be pushing down to like the $50,000 mark. And I think that's like the target for the people that have been selling off the entire crypto market. And then I think massive institutional buyers would go in long at the $50,000 range and drive it back up to like the $100,000. So that's what I'm targeting. So I actually have like a big limit order in to buy Bitcoin. And I'm going to be targeting the top side as well. But for scalping purposes, I'm going to be trying to trade this little daily key consolidation zone that it's currently in. And we will see what happens. So clearly we're rejecting back down to the bottom here. And we are wicking off of something off the daily. So on the 1 hour, We are rejecting off the bottom of the key consolidation zone, but we are clearly showing signs of my breakout entry right here. So we broke down, we're coming back up for a retest. Now it's showing signs of rejections back down. So I'd be interested in sells possibly. But like I said, with the US 30 trade that I'm trying to get in as well, trying to target new lows in the market is pretty risky when you don't really have much to go off of. So the safest trade for selling opportunities would actually be taking a position here and then just aiming for the retest high, which would be there. So we could do something like that off of Bitcoin if I feel like trading Bitcoin. But I don't think there's not much like confirmation that it's going to continue dropping for myself anyways. But maybe I might take it. It would have to be a pretty large position to get anything out of it, and I would have to have a pretty tight stop loss just in case it wants to continue pushing long. So it would probably be something like this on my live account, especially since we have been assuming this overall little downtrend right here. So I might actually take that trade on my live account. Even if it does want to continue pushing down just a little bit, especially if it breaks below these lows here, it looks incredibly healthy to continue filling back down. But no clear indication of green candles back to the top side on this US 30 trade. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this position on my live account. So here's the position on my live account that I'm currently in. So it's a pretty big position. And we're just aiming for it to fill somewhere down here. And I'll probably be managing it pretty aggressively on my other screen here. My stop loss is pretty aggressive on it. I'll show you guys after I have the position figured out here for myself. Can I split screen these two things? Otherwise, will it look super jank? We'll try it out. So go like that. And then we'll put this over here, I think. Does it look too jank? Maybe. So live account, Fusion Markets. I don't even know if we'll be able to enter trades on my TopStep account with it looking like this. It does look a little jank, eh? So we're gonna have to move that down so I can enter positions off of it. Or maybe I should just get rid of no, because then I can't use like the features that I want on it. Okay, but we'll split screen this. So this is the Bitcoin trade, then we'll pull up US 30. So I'm just waiting for 2 green candle closes on TopStep, and then we'll see if I get stopped out on this trade. So my stop loss is pretty aggressive. It's not where it is right there. It's actually right there, just because it might be going long in this price range. But if it does want to continue filling down to the bottom side, then I'll do that as well. So if it wants to go long, I want to get out pretty quick. But if it wants to continue dropping, then I'm going to maximize on it. So if this candle closes green, and then the next one closes green, especially if it closes back in this little 5-minute consolidation zone, I'll be going long for sure on the US 30 trade. Set up my alerts for the Bitcoin so I know when we get stopped out or if we start pushing into profit. So we're just floating around like break even right now on the Bitcoin trade anyways. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go make another coffee. Nice, no movement at all. And I was really hoping the US 30 trade would have showed signs of another entry, but it doesn't really look like it. Bitcoin trade hasn't moved at all either. I guess we are pushing down into a little profit now. So I'm thinking on the Bitcoin trade, if we break below these lows here, it looks healthy, but this, if it does fill down here, it could have a reaction like that off of it, but we'll see if there's enough selling pressure to push it through. I'm going to be pretty aggressive on my management on it if it does start to show signs of rejections off of this level right here. Currently up like $2,000 on it though. So we are getting a break. So I might trail my stop a little bit on the Bitcoin trade, or I might just cut it right now, honestly. Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to cut it right now. So $5,000 locked in on the Bitcoin trade. Just because like I don't want to be in it for too long, just because I am pretty long bias off the bottom here. And I don't know how far it's going to continue falling and dropping, and this could be the move that I was looking for. So Bitcoin trade done, $5,000 locked in on that. Now we'll see if I can get another trade on US 30 in the next little bit here. Fusion Markets live account, by the way, for my Bitcoin trade. And it's cool. They don't really have like high commissions or anything either if you trade Bitcoin CFDs with Fusion Markets. So that's why I like it. The spreads can be a little high dependent on the day and stuff, but either way, I'd much rather trust like a regulated CFD broker like Fusion Markets that offers crypto markets than like a crypto exchange like Blowfin or something. And then I'm going to delete this because we don't need it up anymore. And then I'm just waiting to see what happens with the US 30 trade. Potential trade, I should say. I already locked in $450 on the day for the Top Step account. But I'm still pretty long bias, even though we did have a big sell-off. I'm still pretty long bias. And I think, like I said, if we get 2 candle closes green at any time, I'm going to go long and see if I can milk a bit more from it. But if it doesn't present itself in like the next 15, 20 minutes, then I'll probably just end it. So like even if this candle closes green and then the next 5-minute candle closes green, and I'll go long. But until then, we're just chilling, waiting to see what happens. Let's see how much profit we've missed out on if we stayed in that Bitcoin trade though. So just a little bit, it is starting to wick up. So the selling pressure does seem like it's stopping somewhere in this area, which makes sense because there is structure down here that it would be. But I do like how there's a wick at the top here. And a break and retest of it as well. So it does still look healthy to continue pushing back down. But like I said, I don't like aiming for new lows really. I guess off of this trade, I should have probably eliminated my risk on it and then just trailed my stop right there to lock in. This probably would have been locking in like $1,000 and then I could have just maximized the overall move. But it is what it is. I'm good with locking in $5,000 that I can withdraw from a regulated broker today if I wanted, so I'm not too stressed about that. All volatility has died down on US 30, but it does usually start to pick up around 10:30 to 11 a.m. my time, which is in the next 10 or so minutes. But if that doesn't happen, if no clear indication of a direction starts to present itself, I guess you could say that this is a break and retest of this 5-minute consolidation zone, which I would agree with you. So I guess you could flip the bias to go short, but I do not, like I said, I don't think it's going to be dropping that much further, just because there is so much buying pressure in this overall price range, clearly from previous data, that it'll probably reject back up long somewhere around this area, if not at the top that it's currently at. So I'm still biased to the long side on US 30. And then if we do continue dropping before we get the 2 green candle closes to the top side around this area, then I'll just assume it'll continue dropping, and I don't want to trade that, so I'd cut the session. So we have yet to get 2 green candle closes to the top side. But as we start to push down, it makes it a healthier move to the long side if it does give us the 2 green candle closes like it did right here. Let's go check on the Bitcoin trade. So it would have been a massive trade if I stayed in it. So yeah, on this Bitcoin trade, instead of just cutting the trade, I should have eliminated risk and trailed my stop above this structure right here, because we'd still be in it and we'd probably be up like $20,000 on it. That's okay though. Nothing really happening just yet. All right. Hopefully we start to get signs of it rejecting back up somewhere around this area. Bitcoin trade. So another entry you could be taking on Bitcoin is if it starts to show signs of rejections anytime in here to the long side, to the top side. You could take the FOMO entry, or you could wait for market to develop a little bit and show signs of my regular entry, which would be something like this. Or I'll show you guys a cleaner example of what the regular and the FOMO entry look like. So this would be the FOMO entry. This would be the FOMO entry down here to the top side, 2 green candle closes off of a significant support level, or 2 red candle closes off of significant support level like that. That's the FOMO entry. This is the regular entry for buys, which would be something like this right here. So the first entry, or the first sign of rejection, come back for a retest, show signs of rejections back up. You enter off of the 2 green candle closes like right here. And then it's just the opposite for shorts. So we're kind of just waiting for that structure, this arch structure to form right here before I enter in another long. But if it doesn't want to present itself at all, which it doesn't seem like it is, so like if the red candle, or if this next 5-minute candle closes red and doesn't start to show signs of rejections anywhere right here, and then I will probably cut the stream, and that's the session. That would be $450 on the Top Step account, and then like $5,000 on my live account with Fusion Markets. And then just in general, if we start making new lows beyond this level, it would invalidate this entire thing, because then we would have to wait for it to reject back up again and then come back down for a retest and show signs of rejections back up, and there's no way in hell I'm waiting for that to develop. So this candle closes red, that'll be the trading session, and then I'll just keep you guys updated in the Discord if I end up taking this position on the Top Step account, if it presents itself. So like if you're super risky, I guess you could have went short off of this rejection here, and you probably would have been up $500 if you took 1 mini on it, but nope, that ain't me. So it doesn't look like it'll be closing green, so that invalidates the position for myself for right now. And I don't really want to wait for it to develop on stream anyways. All right, no signs of it rejecting back up, so I'll keep you guys updated if I end up entering this position in the Discord. If you're not in it, you should join it. Everything's for free. My entire entry model is for free and my strategy is for free. And hopefully you guys learned something about my trading today.